you like my videos, please like, subscribe and don't forget to leave a comment below if you have any questions. I left different timestamps to the problems that you might have while doing this build. Most of those clips when I was killing Guardians are done on a basic 6-link rare corrupted one. I didn't have the currency to buy the Brassdom to be as tanky. I started the map Popular Blood Rage. This would take you to the low life. If you look on the left side on my life bar, I have 4 extra % unreserved life. You may ask why. There is a very clever technique that we use in that life to our advantage. I will try to explain the best I can. Leech only ends when you hit maximum life, so if you want reserve less than 50% of your HP, you will get effective overreach with Petrifying Blow, as long as you do not use your life flask. You might be wondering, why do I have a life flask on my bar even if I told you to not use it because of the overreach mechanic. So you're only using the life flask if you know you're gonna be in some kind of dangerous situation and you're DJing yourself. On top of that, you have an enduring cry to help you out with that. If you're still confused how the Petrifying Blood works, I will leave the link description to the video explaining in the details how it works. So unless you need the clarity for the Watcher size mod, then you can squeeze about level 1. Or if you do not have the Watcher size, skip the clarity and just leave the life as it is. There are some problems with the build. Since we're using so many unique items that are mandatory and they cannot be replaced, we're having difficulties with getting our resistance, and getting the chaos threats up to about 75 is gonna be really challenging unless you're gonna be buying really expensive gear. One of the problems as well is that we cannot do an indoor map such as like Crypt, as our lightning strike will just hit the walls instead of the enemies. But I left the timestamp that you can swap to Blight if you're doing like a lower tier maps, unless you invested a lot in this build. Overall, I like the build, it's fun and fast. Once I gather enough currency, I will post a second video when I'm killing those bigger bosses such as Shaper, Uber Elder. Unless I'm gonna be so unlucky that I won't get no drops because Chris Wilson hates me, and I'm gonna think about just making another build that's gonna be a bit cheaper, so it really depends. So I will stop talking now so you can move on to the timestamps that are interested to you. For the bandits, we're choosing to help Alira. For our luck points, we go in normal, crew, merciless, eternal. On your life flask, I highly recommend having the mod instantly recover on low life. The rest of the flasks are very flexible, so you can pick and swap wherever you want. Obscurante's helmet is a mandatory item for this build, as it increases our projectile damage for our lightning strike. If you get enough currency, it will be highly recommended getting the lightning strike pierce first additional targets, and then you can drop those 3 nodes that give you pierce. And I will just invest them over a year to get a calling strike. This will just improve our quality of life while mapping. To put it simply, Brazdom is great on this build, as it provides everything that we need. On your belt slot, try to get as much as you can life resistance, and the Abbess Jewel should be life and accuracy rating. The Oscarm gloves are mandatory for our build. The replica of Vlaster's Sword is a mandatory item. We're gonna be using 2 of them, and I would recommend using the enchantment from your harvest that the quality does not increase the physical damage but grants increased accuracy by 2 quality. For one of your rings, you're looking for flat accuracy, increased global accuracy, open prefix so we can craft the non-channeling skills, and whatever you can get any life resistance. So the second ring is very flexible, but I would recommend using Call of the Void, as this will significantly help you dealing with any detonate deads and corpses. But you can swap the Call of the Void for the Lori Rantel, or just craft another damage ring. The Storm Rider's boots are mandatory for this build, because that's how we get our flat lightning damage from the accuracy stacking, and the rest of the stats are life resistance. So our amulet slot is quite flexible. We can use Hinekora side, or we can use some kind of rare with life resistance and accuracy rating, but the Tribe of Fury is a mandatory anointment, and this will improve our clear speed. Here's the gem setup for our helmet. We're using Arrogance with Anomalous War Banner, Vitality, Precision. Here's the gem setup for our body armor. It's Lightning Strike. I highly recommend using Full Lightning Strike, even if you have to drop the quality on it, as it provides huge impact on your bossing. Nightblade support, multi-strike, lightning pen, divergent additional accuracy. This is very important as it will provide us with more damage. And your last link should be between inspiration or elemental damage attack. Depending, do you have the mana issue, I will go with the inspiration, but you have to remember you have to spend at least 1 mana to get the inspiration charges. If you do have any mana issues, I will just go with the elemental damage attacks. Here's the gem setup for our gloves. We're using Molten Shell, Whirling Blade, Calling Strike, Faster Attack. Here's the gem setup for our weapon. It's Blood Rage, Frost Blink, Enduring Cry. Here's the gem setup for our boots. We're using Determination, Petrifying Blood, Purity of Elements, Hydra's Sphere. You can swap your Lightning Strike to Frost Blade. This swapping is very handy if you're doing some kind of map that's very close, like a tower, and that's not an ideal map for like a lightning strike. Just by simply swapping to Frostblade, you're gonna have a much better experience, but your damage overall on the rare is gonna be much lower. So I wouldn't advise running like T16 with a Frostblade unless you're gonna invest a lot of currency in the build. And we don't have to change anything on our passive tree. We're only swapping one gem from Lightning Strike to Frostblade. You can swap your Lightning Strike to Molten Strike. This has one downside, as you need to have at least one white socket. And there's another small thing that you need to do. You need to change your projectile mastery for 15% less projectile speed, so the Molten Strike ball is gonna have a lesser spread. So clearing the Molten Strike is a little bit clunky, but definitely the Molten Strike shines while it comes to bossing, especially like the bigger bosses such as like Shaper. You should always pop your Blood Rage at the start of the map, otherwise you will be doing no damage, as we have to be on a low life to start dealing damage. There is no issues on this build with mana, as our Lightning Strike costs only 7 mana, but to get there you need to have an open prefix on one of your rings and craft Cost of Skills, and then you need a jewel that has -9 on Cost of Skills, and you get a Claw Mastery that gives you flat 5 mana. Unfortunately, you cannot start this build right away, you have to use some kind of slams. First, I would recommend using Ground Slam from the beginning. At level 12, I would recommend using Sunder. After Sunder, about level 28, you should get your quest and get your Earthquake, and this will get you the whole campaign up to level 75, when you can swap to the proper build. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.